And then more timelines for.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so we'll call the work session to order. We'll start first with review the regular business and public hearing agenda tonight. So the way we've got it planned is that we'll do the call to order, the invocation, and the pledge to the flag. And then I'll ask for a motion to amend the agenda to allow Tony to read the statement from Mayor Witz. And then we'll read the council statement. And then at the same time that we amend the agenda, we'll just go ahead and approve the agenda as well, so that we'll skip number 8 and we'll get down to approval of the agenda.
I had a question about the council statement because I saw it earlier in the email.
Yes.
Is that supposed to be like, this is what the city says? Because I want to say my own stuff and I don't want to say anything that's like, this is what the city says. But is that what that is?
Well, we can talk about that in exec session.
Okay.
One thing under ceremonial matters,
Yes, sir.
Jessica Andrews Wilson will not be here tonight. She is going to be replaced by Alexis Cato. Will be presenting the award to Chief Whitehead, and Molly Vance will be here as well, but I don't think Molly will be the one presenting the thing. But Alexis Cato will be presenting the award to Chief Whitehead, and I have it right here, and I'll give it to Alexis when they get here. So.
Okay. All right. And then we have a proclamation for Red Ribbon. Easy for all of you to say. Red Ribbon Week. That's gotta be a tough
Say it
one.
3 times over.
Do you know if we'll have somebody here to receive that? Okay, so we'll just read it.
No one from Web Ribbon will be here?
No, Red Ribbon. Okay, of course, the minutes, the committee and department reports. I had asked for item E. Most of the other stuff is standard, but I had asked for the item E, departmental severe weather response report, just to allow PD and Public Works just give us an update on how, the issues that the city encountered during the storm and how our stellar departments handled it.
And Public Works pretty much will share that information. Is that what they will be sharing?
Yep, and pictures of some of the damage.
And Roy will be doing the same thing for Peter.
So I just thought it was a good opportunity to show, at my house, we didn't have any damage at all. And my husband was sitting there going, this is nothing. And I'm like looking on Facebook and I was like, well, trees are down all over the city. I keep my Nixle alert kept going off and I said, people are out of power. And
I've heard a lot of good comments about our reaction. and,
Yeah.
People were appreciative of PD and Public Works getting right to it.
Yeah, so it's just a good opportunity for us to showcase that a little bit.
Your Snellville Youth Commission
Mhm.
reporter's gonna be Brian Cleek, Cleek. And also the invocation, if you wanna go back to that, is Mike Byrne. The pledge is gonna be students from SYC.
Thank you. Okay. The public hearing, we have the second reading of RZ 1708. This is the Sycamore Drive in Pinehurst. Anybody have any issues or comments you want to talk about here before we get into public meeting? Okay. Consent agendas, the workplace safety policy. The approval of the lease is our approval of the lease to allow DDA to move forward. So those are on the consent agenda. We'll be going ahead with the nomination and confirmation for Jimmy McKinley to the Arts Commission. And then the bid for the audiovisual. Is there anything?
I know you looked at your agenda item review, and basically we went back and made sure that they amended the quote to include everything that was involved in the discussion.
That's what I was.
And then we negotiated some more. So basically, the final number went up from a little over 69,000 to $77,161. That's a turnkey job. It took an awful lot of extra cabling when we put the recorder in there. They went to the mat for us. They're hoping to get more business from us, more IT business. They went to the mat for us, got us HD cameras. It really will be an integrated turnkey system that we shouldn't have to worry about. So,
And the guarantee is what period?
different on different
Per
components, but these people are very. They've stuck with us a long time, and they were the lowest to begin with, but you just negotiate, and I have no doubt that we could not do better, and I'm recommending that we do follow through with the purchase.
What would be the timeline, assuming we push this through? When would they start?
I think probably they'll start, once everything comes in, they can probably start the cabling. I think they said 3 weeks, but they've got a lot of.
So 60 days, we ought to be operational 60 days.
Material are, 60 to 90 days.
I was looking through this, and the prices for Cisco stuff was basically retail what they were charging. So I'm curious, a lot of these systems, basically, when they charge full on retail like that, it's because it's through the warranty is what you're paying for, like the service, long term, like 2 or 3 year. If something goes wrong with the system, they come and fix it, it's under Cisco kind of thing. What is the warranty info? Because this is just basically how much the stuff costs.
I can.
Mainly because I really can't vote yes if I don't know basically what their plan of action is if something goes wrong. Because that's one of the reasons they charge for retail, is because usually it's the warranty is like great, or they have like a 2-year thing, a 3-year thing, but there's different levels, and that doesn't say anything about like what that is on here.
Okay, I can give you a list of warranty length on, on the various items. I don't have that, but I'll get that for you.
Okay.
And you specifically are interested in the Cisco products?
Well, the majority was Cisco. So I was just trying to get around, basically kind of asked them to see what their deal is by looking at the warranty stuff.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
So if it's like a 2 or 3 year thing, then it's fine. But if it's like a 6-month thing or something, then it's not really a big deal.
I'll try to come up with that between, when we finish the work session.
Okay, anybody else have anything else on the regular meeting?
Oh, item B on consent agenda.
Yes.
I want to talk to Tony. Tony, the leasing stuff with the Georgia Works people. Or it doesn't matter. But I guess what's the legality of that, of us getting into leasing agreements with property for the city?
Well, the city can enter into a lease. That's not a problem. We have maybe even a duty to maximize the value of an asset that we're holding in inventory for a different purpose. So,
Well, we somewhat did that with the old police department parking lot, if you remember, some years. You may not have been on council, okay. We had done that with that piece of property. We leased the parking lot side of it to a mobile, I guess, a camper sales place. And we entered into a lease. I mean, we leased city property, so.
there are restrictions on how long you can lease. You can if you're doing intergovernmental leases, or if you meet a special structure to do long-term leases. In this case, it's terminable. We're not really doing the lease. It's really the authority of the DDA that does the lease. We just have a contract with the DDA that says, hey, you can't do anything with this piece of property without council approval. So we're just
And the cell tower is somewhat like that. Is that-
There's no doubt about that.
I mean, that's very much an intergovernmental thing, where the cell tower is just, I mean, that's a long-term thing.
Right.
Yeah, this lease is between the DDA and doing garage works, and we're just approving the fact that the DDA can do it.
Yeah.
All the snakes come in.
Okay,
Yeah.
anything else?
That was it.
Oh, just to explain why Chuck's sitting here, we're the B team tonight. But Tony actually left to go on vacation last Friday, and he drove back today to be here at our meeting tonight, and then, before we actually get into the business of the public hearing, then he's gonna slip on out the door and head back to his family vacation.
Slip out the back.
Close this door.
As long as that door stays open.
Good deal.
Okay. All right, so that's running through the regular business meeting. So now we'll go back to the work session agenda. Any correspondence?
We had several items of correspondence from the Patel family regarding their Shell station on the corner of 124 and Oak. They have some plans to make improvements, and I wanted to discuss the property side of it in executive session, but I'd like them just to give kind of an overview of what they're planning for the facility.
Essentially, we're about to renew our lease with Shell for 10 years. And part of the renewal is we do upgrades to our stores, so we're getting new pumps, new parking lots, basically an upgrade to the building. We just put in a new canopy. So the reason that we approached Mr. Sanders is there's a sample, or there's a property attached to our property. It's sort of a right-of-way, I don't know exactly how to describe
It's
it.
the extension of North Road across Oak, immediately in the back of their property.
Yeah. And we have a lot of
Okay.
customers who use that road as a point of access into our property.
Mhm.
Now, that road, obviously, it's in a bit of a disarray in terms of, it's in no man's land. So nobody really kind of bothers with it. So we're hoping that we can do something where we can maintain the road, maintain the property. That access point into our store becomes much more fluid. Also, the access out of our store where, because right now, it becomes a little bit hazardous for people coming in and out right now because there's no sort of, I don't know what the exact term is, but people don't know exactly which way to go and how to come in and whose right of way it is. So, we're hoping that we can kind of make things a little fluid there with your help, hoping we can help each other out, kind of make that area look a little bit better. So it helps our store look better as well.
Would your plans include curb and gutter and better delineating that driveway off of Oak Road?
Yes, absolutely.
And
So-
then paving and improving the entire parking area?
Improving the whole parking area, yeah. So starting all the way from where the bank property ends, all the way down to our property, so.
Be progress just to fill up the holes.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes.
City attorney's report?
We're going to need to have an executive session this evening.
That with the work session agenda items, like to try to get through at least by 7 o'clock, because we'll need about 30 minutes for the exec session.
Yeah, I don't see
Make
much
sure
of
we
an
have
issue.
plenty of time to
Yeah, really
talk
don't.
about everything, get to
See
mindful
what
of
you-
the time. Discussion items, town green used for unity meeting.
I've been approached by a number of people of having another gathering similar to what we did some time ago. But this time I would ask that I do this as a non-city council member. I would be just a city resident that would like access and use to the town green to do this type of activity and comply with whatever the city requirements are in order to facilitate that. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So whatever those requirements are as far as, requirements for security, requirements for deposits or any of that kind of stuff, or you know, whatever it happens to be, I'm just a regular. So just draft whatever is appropriate if everybody's in agreement. And then we'll fill in the dates as soon as I'm able to go back to the other people that want to try to do this. So again, I think it's a very worthwhile endeavor, but we don't want to do anything that would endanger the city getting a hand slap because of my efforts to have a gathering.
Do you have any approximate dates yet?
Probably not. I mean, we're probably into November at this stage of the game. We might even be into late
Maybe at any point you
October.
would be an individual anyway.
It could very well be the case. Most likely will be the case, assuming I'm still around, so. But yeah, I mean, it won't take long to generate once we know we're good with it. So
Right.
I would say we could approve something in 2 weeks. As far as giving y'all the information so you can print it so the council can sign it and be done with it.
Okay.
So that everybody's sort of up to speed on this issue, there was a unity gathering, there was another unity gathering, and the focus of it was the police shootings. And it was really a public interest cause. And in the presentation of that, when it ultimately ended up getting presented, it had a real support from city council. It was on the town green. It had been just sort of spontaneously occurred as a result of that, but it had a strong religious overtone in its message, and there was an issue raised. The issue raised was, are we stepping over the establishment clause? And so with that knowledge, we certainly didn't do it on purpose in the initial setup. But with that knowledge that this is the propensity, its body's done exactly the right thing. Stepping back, putting it, now, we can't, once we open up Town Green to events that people can sign up for, they can have religious events on the Town Green. It's not something that we can discriminate the other way either, but they can't be sponsored events. And so that's sort of the guidelines that we're talking about with, and Bobby's responses are just perfect for dealing with it.
Anybody have any questions or issues on that? Next is the discussion of amendment to the alcohol ordinance to include a provision for farm wineries.
I'll start off with that. You wanna handle that one? Yeah. Okay, so you guys are familiar with Operation Homebrew, so it's one in
Yeah.
Cooper Village on 78. So these guys kind of want to do something a little different than most small home brewing stores. They want to be able to basically conduct a class where they teach people how to make wine, store the wine as part of the business, and they would also like to sell the wine by the glass, kind of like what Nico does in his little wine place. So because we don't have a specific provision that deals with the legalities of what, that ensues, so Chuck and Tony were brought in to kind of clarify what we need to do on our end as far as ordinances and revisions to give them a path to that opportunity if that's something the council wants to entertain.
And so what he's wanting to qualify is what's called a farm winery. And Georgia Code has kind of a special carved out exception for farm wineries, which are basically wineries where a certain percentage of the grape, in this case, is produced in Georgia. And they're actually allowed to not only make the wine, but they can sell the wine. They can have a tasting room and sell the wine at their location. The applicants indicated that he has a farm and actually would be able to satisfy. Now that's up to the Department of Revenue whether or not they agree that he's satisfying that number. But notwithstanding his ability to produce that percentage, in order for him to be able to operate as a farm winery in the city of Snellville, it would require a change in the alcohol ordinance to contemplate that first to allow that. So that's,
Maybe the zoning ordinance.
well, it would, naturally it would apply to zoning, because there's zone BG, I believe, right now. And so there would have to be some type of conditional use permit for that as well. So the question is, is that something you all want to do? And we help with that. Is what you all want to do, we can go from there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would it fall similar to either how Nico currently does it with the limitation of 2 4-ounce glasses, or,
Could.
I mean, could it,
Depends on
is
how
that how it could
crafted.
look like that?
We could put ply limits like we do for the craft beer market too, I think that.
Well, I was gonna, and that was gonna be my next thing, you know, we've added kind of wine to that element as well. So, I mean, it seems like it's a natural progression to do something like this. Now, the hurdle begins, do we need to go through that process until the hurdle is cleared by him to start with?
Well, he is already, is my understanding, I think Jason and I believe, it's our understanding, he has already gotten the federal permit that he needs to be able to do that. But then he's got to get the state permit. But he has filed an application, and you know, we've just informed him that right now, that regardless of filing an application, there's no ordinance that takes that into consideration. You know, the other question is, while we're at it, is there any other areas of the alcohol ordinance that you all want to investigate, as far as
Yes, all
brew
of it.
pubs, distilleries, any of that stuff?
All of it for me. I'm just curious. Well, I think the people should be able to drink. I don't really care. Like, so I'm all of it, yeah. Because I've seen other countries where they do it, and it's part culture. It's not really. I don't think it should be government banning people drinking. But so yes.
What we can do is we can prepare a list, I guess, of potential other options that might come up,
Yeah.
and then we can bring that back to you all. You can
I was
decide.
gonna say, let's
what
maybe
you
not
wanna-
recreate the wheel here.
Right.
I mean,
Maybe
there's,
see what some
yeah,
other
I mean,
cities have already
yeah, I mean,
dealt with.
you've
Well,
got
that-
Slow
options
Pour
for
that's just
us.
opened in Lawrenceville, there's gotta be something there, there's X, Y, and Z. I know, Lincoln has talked about enhancing their offerings, but there's some, you know, some hoops to jump through there, so. But yeah, I mean, I think anything we can do to improve any ordinance that we've got, not necessarily this one, but I think anything, I mean,
Yeah,
it
so
would make
maybe-
sense for us to look at it.
Maybe you had everything related to this one, but also a
Mhm.
list of other options
Okay.
that other cities are encountering that we
Yeah,
might
it
want to
doesn't make any
look
sense
at.
to examine this and then come back in 6
Do it
months.
again.
And knowing full well it'll never get everything that's potentially downstream.
Right, right, but at least we can tackle the things that we see on there.
You know, we've got somebody's already started at least.
But you do want limits, as far as the farm winery change, you want limits similar to that we have in place
Well, I
for
think, I
Lincolnville
think,
Station?
I think we should. I think
Okay.
unless they're gonna meet the qualifying food
Right.
requirements, I think it's imperative that we stay in line with what
Yeah, it
we've
should be
currently
consistent.
done. I think it needs to be consistent,
You're
for
not
sure.
putting one person at a disadvantage and.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
We'll put that
yeah,
together.
you don't wanna give one of them an unfair advantage.
And give PD more business across the board.
Give me a
All right.
place for my cop cab to go.
Now we got a
Be given rights,
discussion of the sign moratorium.
I'll lead off on that one too. As you guys know, we were recently caught up in some, I guess, litigation about some signage as it related to Best Buy and a retaining wall. So, once we kind of found out where the chink was in the sign ordinance, we want to be able to correct it and not have to deal with that in the future. So we've, Chuck and Tony have introduced, drawn up an ordinance that will allow some time to make that correction and not be open to any potential lawsuits in the future.
And that suit was dismissed. They dismissed their suit themselves, so there's no pending litigation at this time.
Well, that follows up on exactly what we just said. Anything we can improve on ordinance-wise, any code-wise, anything we can make an improvement on, it's imperative that we do that. If we can improve it, I don't want to go backwards with it, but if we can improve it, make it better, and make it, you know, make more sense.
So when will we have that to vote on?
It's already prepared, and
Okay.
if you all, it's in the packet you all
Okay.
have. Correct, Melissa, it's in the packet. It is, if you all wish to vote on it, you all can make a determination here at this meeting, if you wish it to be placed on the agenda for tonight, and you could present it tonight if you wish.
Okay. The discussion regarding the post office, we're gonna move that to the executive
Exec session.
session.
Exactly.
And so we'll have the update of ongoing projects.
Going down through the list, the first item, I need to share some time in executive session regarding some property issues where the town center is concerned. The first item. The second item, working with the county to get their input on the library portion, one section of the library portion in the RFP. Our part is complete, and hopefully we'll have that ready on, I've got a milestone date of October 1st. That's my goal, and I'll have that completed document with all the county information out to you at that time for review. Public relations, marketing, where Brian continues to work with Gay on the stormwater information update. I've got some wording to give to Brian for our next brochure, I guess. Something that hasn't been updated since day one, it seems like, Gay. So an important part of what we do at the city. And Mayor Pro Tem asked us to give a public update on stormwater projects. We're putting that together, and you can put that on any agenda in the future that you'd like. So we can talk a little bit about the success that we've had in stormwater area. Town hall meetings, I think the main subject matter that has been discussed in the past has been the 78-124 intersection. I'll have an update for you on that when we get down to that project, but I don't think we're really ready yet to hold a town hall meeting on that subject at this time.
Have they given you any indication when boots on the ground kind of time frame?
We have, it really has not changed since their first timeline, basically. For any construction on 78 that would impact traffic, they're still looking at the spring of 2018. We had a utility coordination meeting that Eric and I think a couple staff members attended earlier this, I guess last week. Basically, the utility companies are going to start doing their locates, and they're going to start on Clower, because the first construction that you will probably see will be the Clower and Main Street west in that area. They're going to do some right-of-way staking on 78. There'll be some clearing still to be done. They'll put out some signage. You'll see some signage, but maybe some detention pond work, which is off the roadway. But as far as traffic impacting construction, they're still looking at the spring of 2018. So we meet with and talk to the Pittman folks on a regular basis. They have a lot of other projects to complete before they move their crews over here, and that's why the construction timeline has been moved out. The 18 to 24 months is still in place. That's in the contract, but as far as the timing of everything.
Yeah, that doesn't start till like 18.
Well, no, it starts when DOT signed that contract. So they've got 2 years from, what was it, September, earlier in September, so they've got to be moving, and they think they can.
Just one note, which they did say, from a construction perspective, they may start some wall on the First Baptist Church parking lot that'll be near the road and impact their parking lot some in construction, but not traffic, just in case anybody from First Baptist should ask.
Can you, I know it's not a lot of information to update, can you at least put that on, make sure it's on the website on that page that y'all did go to that meeting? And
Yeah,
each time you do?
let's get with Pittman and get as many specifics as we can.
Yeah, we did not get a lot of detail out of that meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can even put that on there, you know, we had this meeting, we still don't have a lot of details, but this is what we do know. Because then at least people are aware that things are going on, it's just that nothing that they can see.
But let's get the best,
Right.
let's get the best
There's
update
nothing
we
going
can.
Yeah,
So,
that's the challenge, is they are not giving any real dates at all. It's
Right.
all-
Well, and it doesn't have to be date specific, but just the fact that you guys went to a meeting and that at least they're gonna start locating utilities, that way if people see things out there, they know what's they
Yeah.
at least know
Just
that.
tell
person.
people
People
what,
in bright vests.
tell people what we know,
Yeah,
that's all.
The UDO, I'd estimate that we're probably maybe 10 to 15% complete with the coding part of it. Caleb is not ready to come back with anything of great volume, so I'll give you an update in another 2 weeks on his progress there. AV, Erica's working on the warranty information, Roger, so we'll see if she can get it
Oh, you texted.
for the end of this meeting.
Okay.
The roundabout construction, we are, Webb Tanner and Powell are, they're got a lot of closing scheduled. We're about this far away from certifying right-of-way, which turns the county loose to bid north and Fars. We still have one litigation that we're involved in at Ridgedale and Fars, so we'll keep you updated on that. 78 and 124, I gave you the update, and that's the best information I've got right now. Business Retention Committee, we're just obviously working on coordinating the first meeting, so we'll get back to you on that one. 2017 SPLOST program, that's another item that the county's working on as far as agreements on specific projects. I know they have 16 cities to deal with, so their law department is working on that. And to be honest with you, I'm pushing them harder on the RFP than I am on that.
yes.
So, and then the final item, really, there's been nothing to report. So that kind of goes through the update.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, I forgot to bring this up in the lease agreement. Part 10, the assignment, I wrote like that same majority instead of just, it says council, mayor, and DDA, but that assumes that everybody's in favor of it. I would think, because it's very broad. Wouldn't you want to put like majority or something on there?
Well, it's talking in generalities with the approval and what the overall approval of the mayor and council as a body are saying.
And this is, what we're looking at is the assignment provision, and generally contracts are assignable unless they have restrictions on them. And this is just simply placing a restriction that this agreement cannot be assigned without approval of both groups. So it's a restriction, it is a ban. So it's not it is a majority. They would have to bring it to this body to seek an approval of an assignment of the lease, which is the right legal position for us to take.
And going back for just a second, on the sign moratorium, do y'all want to amend the agenda and add it tonight to vote on, or would you prefer to do it at the next meeting?
If we're not up against any crazy
We are
deadlines
against the
or
crazy.
anything.
Here's the way the crazy works. If you don't, then
Not sure
everybody's
we-
gonna come running in filing applications for
Mhm.
structure signs.
Do it tonight.
So unless you wanna just open that door, I think it's wise.
Just do
for
it
the council
tonight.
to-
Okay, well, that's why I asked the question. For me, there had to be a reason why we do it tonight, not necessarily just to do it
It
tonight.
is important.
So as long as it's delineated real clear that it's important to do, then I can support it.
Okay.
Outside of that, no.
So then when we amend the agenda, just ask that you include the statements, and then it's resolution 2017-12. Resolution for assignment. Okay, anybody have anything else for the work session? Very good. I'm gonna read this. During the work session of Mayor and City Council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Woods, Mayor Pro Tem Bender, announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and ask council to advise the city with respect to closing the meeting. City Attorney Tony Powell advised the city of the following reasons to close the meeting.